outreach specialist with the State Treasury Department, and I'm very happy to be here.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Greco. I'm also one of the outreach staff members at the PA Treasury, and we're excited to be here for your presentation. So we're going to start off, we're going to talk about PA Able and some of the benefits that it has to you guys and what it can do for your family and your loved ones.
Bear with me, Alyssa, while I
It's okay.
find where I am here to forward the slides. All right, I'm just going to start over with the slideshow. Go ahead, Alyssa.
So we're going to start with a quick overview of the Pennsylvania Able Savings Program, and some of the things that are going to be on the agenda tonight are what an Able account is, who would be eligible. We're going to go over opening and managing your account, and that will include the investment and checking options, as well as how to contribute and withdraw and what the qualified withdrawals are. And we'll deal with any additional details and considerations as they come. If we can hold questions until the end, that would be great, and we will answer them as they come. So what is ABLE? An ABLE account is a savings account for disability-related expenses. So this gives individuals who are qualified and eligible, as well as their family and friends, a tax-free way to save for their disability-related expenses. And this allows them to save without losing any of their needs-based benefits.
So through ABLE, for the first time, many individuals with disabilities can save for a more secure future and have the ability to control their own funds. PA ABLE gives a number of investment options to the person managing the account, and funds in an ABLE account can be used for a wide variety of expenses. ABLE stands for Achieving a Better Life Experience. ABLE was signed into federal law in 2014, and that enabled the states to create their own ABLE programs if they wished. Pennsylvania, our savings program began in April 2017, so ours is about 6.5 years old now. And Pennsylvania's ABLE program has been one of the fastest growing in the country with a proven track record. More than 7,700 account owners have saved more than $90 million in Pennsylvania ABLE, so we're very proud of that.
So one of the things that's unique about our ABLE program is that the savings that are placed in your ABLE account do not count against any of your federal needs-based benefits. So some of these benefits include Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, temporary assistance for needy families, medical assistance or Medicaid, housing assistance programs, student financial aid, and more. And so, as I said before, they're not counted against you, and you will not lose any of your needs-based disability, health, or financial aid. So if you are receiving supplemental security income, or SSI, you can save up to $100,000 in this account while maintaining your benefits. If you're over that limit, then your SSI may be suspended but not terminated, and your medical assistance benefits would continue. However, if you're an ABLE account owner and you don't receive SSI, then you can save up to $500,000. You're muted.
I just realized that. Thank you. An individual can have only one ABLE account nationwide. And while you may see information from other states, Pennsylvania has several PA-specific benefits. These are only available to Pennsylvanians if they use the Pennsylvania ABLE program. Please note that some states use confusing marketing initiatives that may mislead you to believe that they represent Pennsylvania. If you open one of these non-Pennsylvania able accounts, you may be missing out on critical Pennsylvania disability and tax benefits. So just remember to look for our logo, which you can see here on the screen. It's blue and green. It's shaped a little bit like a license plate. And to go to paable.gov rather than another website. If you're if you're in any other support groups or organizations, you can also order brochures and e-brochures there. You can find out about payroll deduction and lots of other good information there. So contributions to a Pennsylvania ABLE account are eligible for both state and federal tax benefits. Contributions to a Pennsylvania ABLE may be deducted from state taxable income up to $17,000 per person per year. Only contributions to a Pennsylvania ABLE qualify for the Pennsylvania state income tax deduction. Also, there's no state or federal income tax on a Pennsylvania ABLE account earnings while the funds are in the account or when they're withdrawn, as long as they're used for qualified disability expenses. And we'll talk about what qualified disability expenses are in a few moments.
So there are eligibility requirements for the Pennsylvania ABLE account. So first off, the qualifying disability has to have occurred prior to your 26th birthday. Now, you don't have to open the account prior to your 26th birthday, but that's when the onset of the disability has to have occurred. You also, with that, would have to be eligible for supplemental security income, which is SSI, or Social Security Disability Insurance, which is SSDI. However, there is an option to self-certify, but there are certain standards. And so this would be blindness or any medically determinable physical or mental impairment, and that would have to result in marked and severe functional limitations. And this has to be something that would last for more than 12 months. Now, we don't ask for a written diagnosis or documentation when you're opening your ABLE account, but we do ask that you have it if it would be requested.
Most people find that the easiest way to open an account is online. You can go to our website, paable.gov, and click on Enroll. The enrollment process takes about 15 minutes, and it's a lot like applying for an online credit card or an online bank account. In Pennsylvania, we also give people the option to fill out a paper application if they're more comfortable with that. You can print that out from our website, or you can call our ABLE hotline, which is 855-529-ABLE, and request a paper application, which we will mail to your house. There are some unique features on account control, and these rules were recently updated by the federal government. So adults with the legal capacity to enter into a contract may open the ABLE account for themselves, or they may appoint any other person of their choosing to open and manage the account on their behalf. If the person with the disability is younger than 18 or lacks the legal capacity to enter into a contract, then their ABLE account must be opened by another person. That person is called the authorized individual. The federal government recently expanded who could be an authorized individual, and they laid out an order of priority, and that is power of attorney, legal guardian or conservator, spouse, parent, sibling, grandparent, or Social Security Administration rep payee. So what that means is, let's say you were the legal guardian, that's number 2, for a person with a disability, and let's say I was the parent of that same individual. You're higher on the list as the legal guardian at number 2. So if both of us wanted to open the account, you would be the person who would open the account rather than me. If another person opens an account on behalf of someone else, they're acting as fiduciary and they're managing the funds, but the person with the disability is always the account owner. So if I had an ABLE account for my sister, for example, it would be the understanding that I was managing her funds and I wouldn't use those monies to give myself a nice spa day or buy myself a new car because I would know that it wasn't my money. So let's talk about how to make contributions to ABLE. There are lots of ways to make contributions. You can use a paper check or a money order or an electronic fund transfer. There's lots of flexibility. An account owner or loved one can put money in occasionally or have money put into a PA ABLE account regularly through their payroll or through an existing bank account. If you receive SSI or SSDI, you can direct those into an ABLE account as a direct deposit unless you have a representative payee. We do ask that each contribution be at least $25, and the federal law limits the amount that can be contributed annually to $17,000 this year, and that's true no matter how many people are contributing. So let's say there was an ABLE account and I was the only person contributing. I personally could put in 17,000 this year. But if all of us on the webinar tonight were contributing, then all of us as a group could put in 17,000, not each one of us. Anyone at all can contribute. They just need to provide basic information about whose account they're contributing to. Family and friends can also contribute through UGift, which is a free online service, a little bit like PayPal. So let's say I was inviting Alyssa to my kid's party. I could give her the UGift number, and then I wouldn't have to share the account number with her, but she would still be able to contribute. So that's a nice safety feature for families. Another way people can contribute is to roll over a 529 college and career savings account directly into an ABLE account. And people can do that with no tax implications, which is very nice. Because of that $17,000 limit this year, let's say I had a 529 account that had $25,000 in it, I would need to roll that over into an ABLE account over 2 different calendar years because of that limit. The Able to Work Act adds some wonderful flexibility for some account owners who are working, allowing them to contribute up to $30,590 this year. They can contribute above that $17,000 threshold that we talked about a moment ago if they haven't made contributions during this tax year to a defined contribution plan like a 401k, an annuity contract, or a deferred compensation plan.
So while we have this account, there's multiple investment options. So we have 6 asset allocation options, and those all vary with mixes of stocks, bonds, and cash investments. So as you can see in our pie charts, we have a really conservative option, and it ranges all the way up to an aggressive option. So you can choose one of them, you can choose all of them, and you're able to move your funds among those different options twice in one calendar year. And at any time, you can designate another option for new contributions. Now, there is a 7th option as well, and that would be our checking option. So the nice thing about the checking option is that your assets are invested in an FDIC insured interest-bearing checking account, and that's with Fifth Third Bank. So this allows the individuals who choose this investment option to actually have a debit card, and they can withdraw money through an ATM, and that's at a $0 charge. So just as with any other bank, if it is an out-of-network ATM, there may be a fee that would be applied with that withdrawal. So there is a monthly service charge. or the monthly service charge of $2 is waived if you have an electronic statement, but if you're receiving physical copies, then there would be a charge. Or if your average monthly balance is at least $250. So we also have a $0 overdraft or return payment fees. So PA able accounts are free to open, but there are some maintenance fees, which varies if you're receiving postal delivery or electronic delivery. So if it's through the postal service, then it would be $14.50 quarterly. And if you're receiving e-delivery, then it would be $8.25. There are also asset-based fees on investment portfolios of less than 1%, and that ranges 0.3 to 0.33%. And the checking option fees are $2 or $0 monthly.
So once you put money into your ABLE account, you'll want to be able to take money out. Even if you don't have the checking option, you can make a withdrawal from any of the investment options 3 different ways. You can go online and log into your account. You can call us on the ABLE helpline and say, hey, I need you to send $1,000 to pay my Visa bill. We will write the check and we will mail it for you. Or you can do it in writing by filling out a form. If you have that checking option, you have some added flexibility. You can withdraw money from the checking account 3 different ways. You can use your debit card at a store. You can make an ATM cash withdrawal, or you can write a check if you choose to purchase checks. Let's take a look at what the account can be used for. The quick answer is anything at all. It's your money and you can use it for whatever you want. But if you want to enjoy the full benefits and protections of the ABLE law, you should use it for qualified disability expenses. The federal law lists the 11 categories shown on this slide, things like education, transportation, prevention and wellness. The IRS regulations also list basic living expenses. I can say as a mom of 2 young people with disabilities, I think we mostly use ours for everyday expenses like groceries and clothes and things like that. Nothing too exciting, but it's nice to have it there. Expenses do not need to be for the sole benefit of the person with the disability. So let's say I bought a computer, but other people in the family use that computer, that would be okay. That could still be considered a qualified disability expense. So the bottom line is that qualified disability expenses are very broad, and it's up to the person managing the account, whether that's the account owner or another person, to make the decision on what's a qualified expense. They don't have to call up the Treasury Department or the IRS and check. We do encourage people to save any receipts in case they are ever audited by the IRS.
So if you are using a withdrawal for a qualified disability expense, it would not be subject to taxes, as Diana referred to in our earlier slides with some of the benefits of the account. However, if they are used for non-qualified expenses, then the income tax on any earnings at the taxpayer's tax rate would be, that's what you would be subject to, as well as an additional 10% penalty on the earnings of your contributions. So for recipients of SSI, withdrawals that are intended to be used for qualified disability expenses would not impact your SSI benefits, which is one of the great things about ABLE. However, if your withdrawals are for non-qualified expenses and housing, it can impact your supplemental benefits unless it's used in the same month the withdrawal is taken. So who would determine if the expense is qualified or non-qualified? That's up to the account owner. So it's up to the person and the individual who's spending the money to see what the expense would be and if it would be qualified. However, as Diana said, and I'd like to reiterate, we do ask that all of your receipts and any documentation of the purchases that are made through your ABLE account are kept. That way in case the IRS would ever audit you, you would have all of the documentation to back you up. So contributions directly into an ABLE account, again, would not affect your SSI benefits. Your account value over $100,000 would be counted as an asset because, as we said, you have up to $100,000 that can be in that account if you're receiving SSI. So your SSI benefits would be suspended but not terminated if that value exceeds $100,000, but it wouldn't impact your medical assistance eligibility.
Sorry, I didn't realize it was my turn. Um, I want to add one thing too. As long as if I was contributing to your ABLE account and you received SSI, it's important that I put the funds directly into your ABLE account so that doesn't affect your SSI benefits. So if it was your birthday, for example, rather than handing you a check or cash and telling you to put it in your ABLE account, I'd put it directly in there. So another rule that applies for just for SSI, if someone has SSI, they want to be careful about taking funds out for a non-qualified expense. If they take funds out for a non-qualified expense or for housing, they want to be careful to spend that money in the same calendar month that they take it out. For example, now we're in August. If I had my September rent that was due September 1st, I would take the money out in August and I would pay the landlord in August. I wouldn't carry it over from one calendar month into the next. And for SSI purposes, housing expenses are broader than you might think. They're broader than just rent or mortgage. They also include things like heating, fuel, sewer, and even garbage removal. So you will want to keep that in mind if you receive SSI or if you're helping someone who receives SSI. So this slide talks about what happens when an account owner passes away. So all outstanding disability expenses can be paid out by the family using the ABLE account. That includes typical end-of-life expenses like medical bills, legal bills, funeral bills, that sort of thing. Pennsylvania does not make a claim against a person's ABLE account while the person is alive, but after the person passes away, the State Department of Human Services can make a claim just like they would if the person did not have an ABLE account. The rules are the same whether or not someone has ABLE. Pennsylvania is more generous than many states because Pennsylvania law limits claims to funds only spent after the person's 55th birthday. So if someone started receiving benefits in kindergarten, and they passed away at age 53, for example, the state would not make a claim against their estate, even though they were receiving benefits for all those years. But if that same person lived to be age 60, say, the state could make a claim, but only for funds spent after the person's 55th birthday, and only for funds spent on specific things, and that would be on nursing facility services, home and community-based services, and related hospital and prescription drug services. The whole process would be delayed if the person with the disability was survived by a spouse, a child under 21, or a child with a disability.
So all of our ABLE resources are available under our resource tab on paable.gov. So it would be at the top menu and you would click the outreach from the drop-down menu. From that outreach page, there's a couple of things that you can do. So you can request free PA ABLE materials like brochures. I know I sent Emily some brochures, some of our PA ABLE brochures. You can also find messages and graphics for your newsletter or social media. sign up for our email updates, or view our webinar slides. So those are all available to you just through our website.
Awesome. So I'm going to run through quickly what it looks like when you apply online. So just as a reminder, you should go to www.paable.gov. And I just want to put a plug in for our ABLE disclosure statement that has a lot of good information about ABLE, including risks and rules and all sorts of things you would want to know. That's on our website. Okay, so let's pretend that we are opening an account for a minor. Let's say that we have a daughter named Susie. So we're going to put Susie's name, first name and last name in here, but I'm going to put my email and my phone number because I am the adult managing the account. Pardon me, I just noticed my computer's not charging. So even though Susie is the account owner, it's important that they are able to reach me because I'm the person managing the account. So that's why I'm putting in my email and my phone number. Now it's asking who's filling out this information tonight. Is it Susie? Is it Susie's mom? Is it some other person who should be allowed to manage funds on Susie's behalf? Depending on how I fill this out, I may receive a call or an email later asking me for some documentation, like a birth certificate or court order, things like that, just to prove again that I'm someone who should be able to manage funds on behalf of this other person. Then we're putting in again the account owner's name and address. Again, it's a lot like applying for a credit card or an online bank account. Here it's asking what the person's disability is. Obviously, many people have more than one disability. Don't worry about choosing incorrectly here. There's no wrong answer. It's just the federal government collecting basic information about who needs ABLE accounts. Is it mostly people with, say, respiratory problems or intellectual disabilities? Again, no wrong answer there. It's also asking whether the person with a disability receives SSI, SSDI, or whether they're self-certifying. It's asking for identity verification, either a driver's license or a state ID, mother's maiden name. Again, it's a lot like applying for other sorts of things that you've done before. I like this visual here. This is asking how we would like to invest our funds. And as you see, I can put all of the funds in one of these if I want to, or I can mix it up a lot. As long as it adds up to 100%, I have a lot of flexibility. I also can set this up ahead of time. So if someone else puts money in, it will be invested the way that I chose and that I set up. Every time I make a deposit, I can change that up if I want to, or I can be consistent and keep it the same. This is asking how we would like to fund the account. Would we like to write a check? Would we like to connect it to our payroll? That's a really awesome choice. If I do that, then every time I get paid, I can put some money in my loved one's ABLE account. I don't have to remember to do it. It's just going to happen automatically. I also can link the ABLE account to an existing bank account. The advantages of that are that it's very easy to move funds back and forth, and I can do that with a single contribution now and then whenever I want to, or I can set that up to happen automatically. Let's say every month or every quarter, I can put a certain amount of money in, and then again, I don't have to remember to do that. It'll happen automatically. This asks how we would like to receive information, whether through the mail or electronically. And these radio buttons are going to automate to the lower fees for us. We're going to create a username and password. Again, just like a million things you've applied for in the past. We're going to set up some security questions here of, what your dog's middle name is and where your parents met, that sort of good stuff. And that's pretty much what it is like to apply online. I'm going to leave up this slide. This is a great number to keep. It's on the back of the brochures if you have a brochure, and it's all over our website. Everything that we talked about tonight is on our website. And Alyssa and I are happy to stay and answer your questions. But if you think of a question a week from now, you would want to call the number. It's open between 8 and 5 on weekdays. And people there can answer your questions as well.
Can you?
Okay. Go ahead. May we ask a question?
Please do.
Okay, go ahead.